This is Matt from the Comic Hall of Roundtable Discussion, and we are with Chris and Sean. Stay Puff 1983 is in the building, and tonight we're going to be talking about our undervalued comic books. No particular order, no particular brand, no particular company, but they all have one thing in common. They're all undervalued books. Fellas, what's going on?
Doing well, man.
Doing good.
Good, good.
Weekend is here, man. One more day of the
One
work
more
week.
day.
Yeah, we made it, man. We made it. So this is a list that we've all just this is one of those lists that people always look out for. It's the undervalued list. We all know books that are already hot. Those are the ones that you've probably already missed the boat on, unless you happen to go to a store where they have not went back into the loan boxes and pulled them out. You know how that go. So we've got all of us have got different books that we've compiled on the list, and we're going to go through some of those books. Sean, we'll let you kick things off, man. What do you have for the masses?
Oh, you put me on the spot here, man. I thought we was just gonna talk about certain books that's on. I don't have no
you ain't got no book.
books.
Hey, brother. Well, what do you think is undervalued, man?
Shoot, I'll have to look at what I because I ain't. This was like on the fly, so you know. I ain't come prepared with no list or nothing like that.
Ain't no problem, brother. Ain't no problem, brother. Hey, it's recorded. It's no problem, brother. We ain't lying.
I know, but I just feel unprepared. That's all.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat it. So what I do is I kick things off, and anything that comes to your mind, you can go ahead and say it. All right. And I'm gonna leave that in there too, by the way. I'm not taking that out. This is raw and uncut, baby.
Just gonna leave them raw and uncut. Just
raw
leave
and
it
uncut. This is how we do it at the Comic Hall. All right. So first on my list is Star Wars 16 from the 1980 series, and people are probably like, "What the hell, Star Wars 16? Why is that even on this list?" It's because it's the first appearance of Valance the Hunter. Now, for those who don't know, Valance the Hunter was an Imperial officer who was wounded in battle, and he ended up becoming a cyborg. And so he plays a critical part with Boba Fett and with the Mandalorian rolling around.
Yep.
This is a character that we probably can see because he's actually still alive in the Star Wars mythos. So this book, I've seen it go between $1, depending on where you at, all the way up to about $10. Very undervalued book. But I got a feeling when people start realizing what's in this book is probably going to spike. You'll see a big spike on this one. So I think Star Wars 16 is one that you'll definitely want to keep your eye out. I'm telling you, man, Star Wars right now. If people ask me, Matt, well, what would you invest in? Find Star Wars books, because Star Wars books have such a vast net that at any time they can pull a character from a Star Wars book. At any time from any book. Mm-hmm. That's the crazy thing, is that they will pull a obscure character, and before you know it, it's a $200-300 book. So
yeah.
And the funny thing about those Star Wars comics is that they ones are always tied to the movies. When they started that series out, they had no idea what the movie was about in terms of stories, so they just wrote their own stories.
Yep. Chris, you want to add something?
Yeah, it especially, a lot of people may not know that Star Wars comics originally were done by Marvel, and then became Dark Horse comic books. Were doing them for a while, and then when Disney bought them, they got them back to being done by Marvel again. So Dark Horse had to stop doing it. So any comic book that was Star Wars that was done by Dark Horse or early Marvel are kind of considered the expanded universe as far as Disney is concerned, and Disney is considered the expanded universe to be non-canon. So then if you can get lucky and snatch up some of those early Star Wars comic books before Disney decides to be like, well, we want to use that guy that we said wasn't canon, but we're going to make him canon.
Yeah.
You got money in the bank.
And that's probably what they're going to probably wind up doing, man, because you got to keep in mind that with them, being done with the original stuff, and now they're kind of into what I call the expansion era of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, they've got books galore from 1986, 85 all the way up to now. So that's a whole bunch to work with, man.
Whole bunch to work with.
So I think this is a book that you would definitely want to try to grab if you can. I'm sure you can find this book anywhere. Most people aren't checking for this issue. Everybody's going for Boba Fett in the first few issues, and they're trying to find that 35% variant, and that's it, man. So I think that this is a book that definitely has a lot of room to grow. All right, Chris, what you got on your list there, brother?
I decided to compile my list a little bit from some undervalued and also underrated comic books that I think might be heading towards that shining spotlight thanks to Hollywood. So one of the first ones I got on my list is a short run comic from between 94 and 95 is when it was out. It's called Vamps.
Oh man, I saw that today. While I was digging in the store. I asked to have Vamps.
Vamps. It was a nice comic. Had like a 6-issue run between 94 and 95. Had 2 spinoffs, and it's a comic about a bunch of females who end up breaking away from the guy who turned them into vampires, and they become their own biker gang. And with the supernatural feel coming back around with movies, and so that gives you the vampires aspect of it. And then you've got the women first, so it's an entire group of women. And since everybody's trying to do that kind of deal. And so I feel like Vamps is one of those comic books that not only has a really good story, but has the opportunity to end up, if somebody greenlights it, you're looking at the next Hollywood blockbuster for at least 3 movies, so at least a trilogy since it had 2 spinoffs. And those comics will be just like everything else once Hollywood touches them. Everybody's going to be wanting to get them and wanting to read them. And if you ain't got them, you're going to be paying through the nose trying to get those individual issues. We're trying to find a trade paper somewhere for it.
Yeah, man. Those books like that, it's funny because you look at some of those old books, man, like Dakota North.
Yeah.
Books that nobody absolutely thinks about. Those would be the books that get pulled and be like, oh, let's make something.
Let's make it.
Yeah. And then before you know it, everybody's scrambling trying to find that book. I've been very conscious about when I'm in dollar bins now about picking up certain books. Like I'll see something and I'll go, you know what? It's only $1 or it's 50 cents. What can it hurt? Worst case scenario, it turns out to a $5 book. I made a profit. So,
especially if it's the number one.
Yeah. Especially with number ones, man. Yeah. Vamps. When you said Vamps, you made me think about something else, man. There's another book that I think Image did some years ago. It's called Bike Club. And I think Bike Club would be another one that people could probably look at getting. And it's always in the dollar bin. Bike Club #1. It's always in the dollar bin. So books like that, man, are definitely books that you want to kind of, snag.
Definitely.
I'll tell you another one that's actually is not undervalued, but it's kind of cast to the to the wayside. Yeah, and that's Thief of Thieves, man. For a while there, Thief of Thieves was a book that was,
That's a Kirkman book, right?
Yeah, it's a Kirkman book.
Yeah.
And we all saw that they announced that The Walking Sleep is finally going off the air this week.
Look here, man. 24 episodes over 2 years is not ending a show.
It's called a slow death, which therefore ties into The Walking Sleep.
It's been a slow death since season 5.
So naturally, AMC is probably already starting to try to figure out what they want to do.
Looking for another Kirkman gem.
And if you're looking at a Kirkman gem, Thief of Thieves is a series that can go for a while. So that's one that you may want to go take a look at. And last I saw, it dropped way low from what it was when I first bought the book. At one point, it was sky high, but now it's relatively attainable. So, all right. Well, I will. I've got another one.
I want to mention this book.
Go ahead, Sean.
About maybe undervalued, and we all know that Marvel was bringing back Blade. With Marshall Ali playing the character. So during the 90s, he was part of the Midnight Suns, and he was part of a group that was Night Stalkers.
Yep. Oh man, I remember Night Stalkers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
and
a dollar book.
This. Yeah, I got this for like $3, man.
Yeah.
So it's definitely undervalued. And if they start pulling from the Midnight Suns and utilize these characters with Blade and Ghost Rider and stuff, they have something on their hands.
What Sean, think about it this way, man, is that you've got characters that are kind of in limbo. We know Ghost Rider, he's been in limbo, especially with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They tried to shop that show around, couldn't pick it up. All right, so he's out there. Then you got, like you said, Blade. you got Morbius fumbling around out here somewhere.
No, he's got a movie. Jared
Well,
Leto's
he's got
playing
the
him.
movie. Yeah, well, you got the
Yep.
movie, and so you think about all these characters that they've got. Didn't someone say something about Damien Hellstorm? I heard something
Yep.
recently about that. So you look at all this going on, and well, what do you have? The perfect recipe for what? Hold it up again, Sean. Hold up again, Sean. The perfect recipe for
Night
Spirit,
Stalkers,
Night Stalker.
Midnight Suns, Spirits of Vengeance, all the dark mystic elements of that horror genre. You know, they can definitely, you know, Blade could be the launching point for that. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. And so, and once again, this is a book, dollar bins, 50-cent
Mhm.
bins, $2, $3. I wouldn't pay anything. I wouldn't pay anything over $8 for it.
Right.
You know, but
But you know, Doctor Strange was supposed to be that. The original director of Doctor Strange 2 and the Madness of the Multiverse was trying to take Doctor Strange in that supernatural horror aspect to be able to bring in Blade and Ghost Rider and all those characters, and they ran him off. So now the movie's going to be completely different.
Yep. So make sure you keep an eye on that one, man. Excellent
They'll
pick.
pick 'em up.
Excellent pick. All right, I got one for you, and I've got one. Most people go run, and when they think about Todd McFarlane, they think about Coyote 11, 13, and 12. Well, most those 3 books are typically expensive, or they're becoming more expensive. So, well, what's the next best thing? Has anybody ever thought about Infinity Inc.? I mean, Infinity Inc. is sitting in buck bins. It is early McFarlane work. Just roll right on through. And I'm telling you, man, he did a 2-year run on Infinity Inc., which allows you to get his earliest work at nickels. You can almost buy the whole run of it for like $5 and 3 gummy bears, you know? So, I mean, when you think about the value of those books that are just sitting in butt bins with Todd McFarlane's earliest work, I mean, come on, man. I mean, that is extremely undervalued stuff. Extremely undervalued. So anytime I'm out and I'm in a 50-cent bin, I'm always reaching for Infinity Inc. books, man. So I think that's one a stack of books that people could pick up, man, and down the line maybe yield a few bucks.
Oh yeah.
So
I could see that. McFarlane's making his little comeback. You know, especially if he gets the Spawn project off the ground, he gets to remake. You know, he gets to make a new Spawn movie. People are gonna be wanting all of his stuff is gonna just go through the roof.
Yep.
I can see that.
Sean, anything you want to add?
I definitely can see it. I'm not familiar with Infinity Inc. as much, but you know, anything with McFarlane tends to be good. So.
Yep, it's in the buck bin, man. You in the store? Hey, next time you're down in the store, man, go check it out. You'll find it for about 15 cents. You know, they might be giving it away with the free comic book subs. You know, that's usually how far down the totem pole it is. So, all right, Chris, what you got over there, man?
I got one that's probably close to about to be skyrocket because it's being shopped around for a TV show right now, actively. And I think that's happening thanks to, you know, the love of Stranger Things on Netflix. And so the comic is Paper Girls.
That's a really good one, man. I got that down the hall. Yeah. Yep.
From 2015 to 2019, only 30 issues.
Yep.
So, you know, you can find it and you can get the whole run, you know, probably easily for under $100, depending on the comic, you know, whether or not you buying individual issues or the trade papers. But, you know, you can get the whole run and read up on it before the TV show drops somewhere, because they're shopping it around. They're trying to get it on television, and the minute it does, once again, this is an investment kind of book.
Yeah,
everybody, you know, it's got a great premise, and so once it gets that hook, and somebody green lights it, I think we'll be looking at another Stranger Things.
Yep, I actually bought that book 3 or 4 years ago. I think I paid $20 for a 9/8 slab.
Not bad.
Which was crazy because I think at that time whoever bought the book was probably just thinking it was hot at the time, and you know, and so it just kind of fell off by the wayside. And you know, as I always tell people, those are the best times to pick up books. Sean, you got anything you want to add there, brother?
Yeah, I've read that entire run. I bought that from the first time it came out because I'm a big Brian K. Vaughan fan.
Yeah,
you know, from Why the Last Man and you know, Saga and all that. So I actually enjoyed the series. It's one of those series that, you know, you see the premise, you know, paper girls, you know, girls in the 80s delivering newspaper, and it just deviates from
And then-
what you think, and it
Right,
just
and then
goes
time travel.
time travel and all this, different elements. You see
Mhm.
dinosaurs, you see aliens, you see all that, and I'm like, wow, this is completely what I didn't expect from this series. You
Right.
thinking series about paper girls and stuff.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I think that you've got that. I also think that another book, fellas, that has went under the radar. Y'all are gonna laugh when I say this, but it was a book about 2 years ago that was extremely expensive, and now I checked last night, as a matter of fact, and it's not as bad as it was. So it's tapering down. People have kind of forgot about it, and that's Seven to Eternity #1. Seven.
Oh.
Yep, it was a book that was going for almost $200-300. I've seen #1 going for that. I think last night I checked was like $25, $35, which is extremely low from where it was a couple of years ago. Once again, that's an example of how books usually come out of the gate on fire, and then they tend to trend up. So that's another book that you may want to keep an eye on too. So
I want to say this as for my choice. Anything done by the team of Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips should definitely be on your radar. Whether it's The Fade Out, whether it's Fatale, whether it's Criminal, I would definitely snatch those books up if you see them in $5 bins or even for 10, because those are well received books. And any of them can be adapted into a TV series or a movie.
Yep.
And those are one of the best pairings. Every story I've read of them, always great storytelling, great artwork. I definitely could see something like Criminal being turned into a movie or a TV series, and especially Fatale. I'm surprised nobody ain't touched Fatale yet.
yeah. You think about these books, man, and these are books that typically they come out, they're on fire, then they kind of flame
Just
out,
kinda,
yep. And it's kind of like, since we're kind of just shooting from the cup today, it's kind of like what's my vampire story about? I almost called it the hillbillies. They run the barbecue joint. Oh man, what's the name of it? It was real big. A couple of rednecks. Yeah, rednecks was one that came out, and people were all over it. And so it's a really good series. If y'all hadn't had a chance to read it, go check it out. But once it kind of died down, and so it's just kind of sitting, obscure. And so I guarantee somewhere like HBO Max or somebody will come in, Netflix, pick it up, man. And then before you know it,
it'll be the next True Blood.
Yeah, I mean, look at East to West. That's another one. Number one. Years ago, that book was expensive. Now I've seen it in $5 bins, $10 bins. So, Manifest Destiny. These are all books that were at one point super expensive, according to our scale, and now, they're affordable. They're undervalued, which is insane. But that just goes to show you how this industry works. Sometimes books can go up here, and before you know it, they're right back down there. And that's when the time is to strike. Is when it drops.
Yep.
So I think I think all of those are great suggestions. Now, I've got one that I've mentioned before on the top 10 list, and I'm bringing it right back again because I'm seeing this book today. I saw this book today in the $5 bin, and it blows my mind. Like, how is this book still in $5 bin? And that book is Jupiter's Legacy #1. How in the world is a book this good still sitting in $5 bin? I'm seeing variants. I'm seeing sketch variants. I'm seeing J. Scott Campbell variants. And I'm just like, how on earth is this book still undervalued? And people forget there's a Netflix show on the horizon.
Yeah, because all the Mark Millar stuff is going to be on Netflix.
Yeah, and I've got another one of his books on this list that's just completely set. Matter of fact, they've already put the description up on Netflix. So I know it's they're getting ready to roll it out. And people hadn't even thought about it. And I'll go ahead and tell you that book is Super Crooks. Super Crooks #1 is a book that nobody is checking for. And all of these Millar World books, man, are going to be, if you get them now, You may not make 400-500, you may not make thousands, but you're gonna make something from it because eventually those books are gonna kind of start heading up, and people are gonna start scrambling. You know, so make sure you keep that in mind. Chris, what you got?
You're right about that. But next on my list is kind of just the same thing. It's a comic book that was out and it was hot, and when it was out, everybody was on it. And it's Chew.
Oh man,
Oh man.
I actually watched. You know, it's funny you bring that up, man. I watch listed that today. I actually watch listed that book. I actually watched listed
Man,
it today. I was thinking about it, like, man, that book came out in '09. I hadn't heard anything from it, and you know, and that was another one of those books that we just got to
another
talking
sleeper
about that was up there, and now it's down there.
down
And I
here.
was like, yep,
And I
let me
think
grab that, man.
I think it's coming around. You know, everybody's looking for something that's like one thing, but just different enough to give them that edge when they turn it into a TV show. You know, and like the Food Network adaptation of the X-Men. Like it's so you get that feel of the superhero that you want, but you get that it's just different enough to draw people in for them to be like, I wonder what else they got going on. And Chew was just that comic book, man. Like it was an amazing comic book when it was in its run. It ain't but 60 issues. You can pick up the trades, pick up the I guarantee you can probably find the individual issues, if not in a dollar bin somewhere, definitely in a $5 buck bin easily, and pick it up and be ahead of the curve on this one. Because Chew's just an amazingly good comic book that is just ready to be adapted to a TV show.
Sean, any thoughts, brother?
Chew was one of those books that I slept on because when it came out, I was out of comics. I didn't come back into like 2012, so it had already been underway.
Yeah, he's about like me, man. I kind of came back. I came back and found out about you. It's probably about 2015. But by that time, when 2015 rolled around, it was expensive. I remember seeing it on shelves, slabbed on shelves for quite a bit of change. And so I was like, that's just one I'm going to have to kind of wait on. And then I just so like I said, happened to check today. And I said, well, let me see what Shoe's going for. And, I could probably start getting into a little something. And lo and behold, it was attainable. And so I'm actually watching a book now that hopefully this weekend I'll be able to add to the stash. So
yeah, because they got a sequel series out right now.
Yeah,
the Chew series with CHU. So.
Yep. Sean, you got anything you want to add? Anything you got over there?
This book I was able to get when I was in Tampa a couple months ago for cheap, and this was before the whole DC fandom event, where now there's a renewed interest in Milestone Comics now that they're bringing it back finally. So I was able to get this for $5. First issue of hardware, still polybag.
Ooh, that's pretty.
And you know how hard it is to find some Milestone books in back issue bins. Like when you see them, you snatch them up. You snatch them up because finding static and hardware and Blood Syndicate stuff is rarity. You go to certain shops, they might have some, but it's rare. I have a hard time finding them in abundance.
Yeah.
But I try and snatch them up as I can. And when I saw this, and I got it for $5, hardware #1, first appearance of hardware.
Man, very nice.
Can't beat that, man. Cannot beat that. All right. Next up on my list, the last but not least, is Micronauts #8, first appearance of Captain Universe. At one point, I saw that book going for $40, $50, and $60. It was especially during the whole Infinity Gauntlet ordeal. Everybody was trying to reach for who, and so that book is tapered all the way down. I checked today, and that book was going for about $12. That's a very undervalued book.
Wow.
That's my final book there. So I think that'd be a good book for people to look out for.
Oh yeah. Micronauts has got that 80s feel, which has been coming back around with everything. G.I. Joe's got new action figures out. Transformers is coming back. So Micronauts is definitely easily could be that next great childhood, big screen or whatever.
You had that great Michael Golden artwork too.
Yep.
I actually met him 2 years back in Tampa. You know, awesome guy.
Nice.
You know, got him to sign some She-Hulks and some Punishers that he did.
Yep. You know, you said She-Hulks, man. And like I told you, we've kind of going off the cuff tonight. Savage She-Hulk, those back issues, man. If you can find some of those older back issues, they're really hard to find. So if you find that Savage She-Hulk, those
Pick it up.
Yep, those
I'm fortunate that I have the whole run of that.
Wow, you're the only person I know that has that.
Wow.
Yeah, you definitely.
I was able to build it up over the last couple of years. First, when I knocked out Savage She-Hulk issue #1, I was like, I should be able to get the rest of them. And sure enough, you know, through help for some community members and through digging, I was able to get the whole series.
Nice.
Wow, sweet, man. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, what you got over there, man?
I got another. Well, probably I got a childhood comic, kind of along the lines with Micronauts. And the only reason I do is because they're about to start all over again. But it's the run of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from 26 that started in 2016, and it's because they went a whole new route, and for the first time ever, like I think it was either this year or in the last year, you know, the guy who owned them finally sold them to Hasbro. So for the first time ever, the license of for the Power Rangers has changed hands. And so now that it's in the hands of Hasbro, they're talking about a new movie. You know, even though they had one that came out in like 2016, they're talking about doing another reboot movie. They've been doing a slew of action figures and toys and everything. And then they just ended, you know, the initial run that started in 2016. It ends this month. And then next month, it's coming out with a new comic and a #1. And it's just going to be titled Mighty Morphin. So, you know, it's a great comic with everything, with the momentum that's building up. All those kind of things, you know, Power Ranger memorabilia is one of the things that's always had value, whether it was the toys or costumes or whatever, you know, and these comics have that kind of value only, you know, because they are a lot better in quality than the original. The artwork is better, the story is better, all the covers are amazingly, crazily good, you know, and let's just be real. Once it starts picking up, you know, you can throw a rock at a con once we start being able to go back to conventions again. But throw a rock at a con and find an actor who used to be a Power Ranger and just get an autograph on it, on a cover.
Yeah.
Of that value, get it slabbed.
You know, another thing too, man, is that a lot of times you can find the old Power Ranger comic in dollar bins. I'm talking the old one, you know. And a lot of times people don't realize that Power Rangers, I don't think people realize how old Power Rangers is, because it's, you know, we've all know how old it is, but when you realize that you can go grab those old Saban, I think it was Saban was the publisher, somebody back then.
Yeah.
Saban, and that green I think it's a green book if I'm not mistaken. And you see how popular Power Rangers is starting to circle back around and starting to pick up steam again. You know, I was never a huge fan of Power Rangers, to be honest with you. You know, anybody who knows me will tell you I despised them. I was I actually liked Superhuman Samurai, and I actually, you know, Voltron, of course. I thought Power Rangers was just the biggest Voltron ripoff, you know,
from Voltron and stuff.
Yeah. So, but I did like the Green Ranger. That was
everybody liked Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy was the man.
Yeah,
Tommy was the man.
They down White Ranger stuff. No. Green Ranger. Yeah, you know, I deal with it. And the brother, and of course the brother that was on there.
Zach.
Yeah. So
him and his hip hop keto.
Yep. Him and his hip hop keto. Yep. So, another book that I think is undervalued that people are not. Series is, once again, now that the Infinity War is all over, everybody's forgot about Silver Surfer, man. Silver Surfer books have gone back. They've gone back to the dollar bin. I was looking today. I was like, oh, well, Silver Surfer's back in the dollar bin now, where it was before.
Why is he back in the dollar bin? That's crazy.
Man, people forget. We still got to get to the Galactus. The way I'm looking at it is we're on the road to Galactus or Doctor Doom. It's one of the two. Who I think is going to be the next big bad one.
Got to get a good Fantastic Four for that to happen.
Yeah. So I mean,
hopefully Marvel delivers on that.
Yeah, I think they're going. Personally, I think that they're going to put their eggs on the back. I think they're putting their eggs in the basket of Doctor Doom or either Galactus. I really do. I really have a feeling that it's going to be one of the two, and I hope that they do it justice. But while they're trying to figure it out, collectors, go to the dollar bin.
Get it while you can.
Get it while you can. There's a issue of I want to say it's Galactus #1 or whatever. He's on the cover. I can't quite remember what it is, but it's in the. I've seen it 2 or 3 times.
Is it the Galactus Origin?
That's it. Galactus Origin.
Yeah, I have that one.
It's usually you can find it.
That's a great book.
Dollar bin, $5. You know, I would have told you can get that Doctor Doom, that Bronze Age book, with him on the cover. You could have got that a couple of years ago for about $40, but now it's starting
to pick back up.
The ramp up. Yeah, it's starting to kind of because people can't afford his true first appearance
because it's expensive.
Yeah.
I think that's the book that Steve wants. Stone Cold Steve. He wants that first Doctor Doom.
Yeah, and you know, I'll tell you the story. I don't think I've ever told you two the story, but I was actually at a store. This was probably about 6 years ago. I actually told the story yesterday, and the guy had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of Fantastic Four. This was when all those after coming off the back of that trash that they put out, you know, that trash, you know. So they had them and they were all under $400. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, oh, nobody's gonna get this mess. And then all of a sudden, Marvel buys it out, and I'm like, oh my Lord, I just made the epic mistake of mistakes. And I did not get that first appearance of Doctor Doom, and I to this day, you know, it drives me crazy. So what I do now is try to get subsequent appearances of him because those are going to start kind of tapering up. So, I'll throw some. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I'll say I think it's going to be really interesting because Marvel did tried to make Doctor Doom good for a while. You know, he was running around in the Iron Man-esque armor, but he still had the cloak on and all that. You know, and then it couldn't, kind of like with the Superior Spider-Man with Doc Ock being a good guy, and it just didn't work. You know, it's like somebody at Marvel realized, like, you know, our villains really only work as long as we keep them villains. Like, I
liked that Superior run, though. It was pretty hilarious.
I like the new one because, you know, they did do a separate comic book where he got another body and he still the Superior. You know, it's good. Like my problem with the Superior Spider-Man was that Doc Ock was a better Peter Parker than Peter Parker, which is just one of them things where it's just like, so for all these years, Marvel's kind of just been like, well, we're just going to keep kicking him while he's down. And
I guess that's why I enjoyed it, because of how he acted as Peter Parker. You know, it was so different.
So different. You know? Yeah, he became a billionaire, had his own company.
And I love the interaction he had with Black Cat.
Right. You know? Like, it's totally different. Totally different. It's not the same thing. Yeah. So it's that kind of thing is actually really good, but at the same time, you know, these are villains that people know and love as who they were. Especially with Doctor Doom, you know, he is that kind of core villain. When people think of the Fantastic Four, it's like, who did the Fantastic Four fight? Doctor Doom and
Namor.
There we go, Namor. Like, it takes him a minute to think of somebody else that's not like Galactus or somebody.
But you know, the thing about Doctor Doom, he's a Fantastic Four villain, but he's definitely a Marvel Universe villain because he messes with everybody. Like, he don't just mess with the Fantastic Four. He goes after, you know, Thor. He has a history with Iron Man, Captain America,
Black Panther.
He deals with everybody. He sticks his nose in everybody's business.
He's equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna get their ass whooped by Doctor Doom. You have not officially a member of the MCU.
That classic X-Men cover where he's holding Storm.
Yep.
Classic.
Yep. So once again, Doctor Doom. I mean, you just think about the abilities, opportunities rather, for these characters to show up, and these are books that are undervalued, man. Undervalued books, man. So I've got one. We just got through talking about them, and I know somebody's gonna say, who's watching this is gonna say, well, Matt, you just trashed it. I know, but just because I trashed it doesn't mean that you still can't go buy the books because they're undervalued. And that is The Walking Dead. Those books are like tanking.
Yeah.
Like tanking. There were books I saw years ago that was way up there. Now you can go get them. So if you
snatch them up.
Yep. If there's some variants that you've been looking for, go get them. Like, this would be the time to go get them, especially while, you know, nothing's being turned around. So
yeah, definitely before they get toward the end of the show, because then, you know, the price will go up because the show's ending. So people are going to want to charge more because the show's going off the air. So right now, go out and snatch them up before it happens. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
Another point I wanted to bring up in the book that I got for $5, Chris brought up Hasbro. I saw ROM Space Knight issue #1 for $5 at my shop. They priced it at $5, and I was like, "Well, shit, I ain't gonna pass that up."
No, you better not for $5.
Yep.
And ROM is a character that's popular among old school fans. You know, they love the ROMs and stuff, and he's a big part of the Hasbro universe. So with Hasbro getting Power Rangers and stuff, you gotta think of, you know, all these meetups between Power Rangers and ROM. You know, and the funny thing about ROM is he had appearances in the Marvel universe in the 80s.
Yep.
You know, and Marvel kind of erased his character in certain trades because they don't have the rights to him.
Yep.
So if you find any book with ROM in it and those back issues of Marvel, snatch them up.
Yeah.
I just thought of two things. One, going back to Doctor Doom, you know, with Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange having a history in the comic books of them going to hell to save Doctor. There's the potential for Doom to show up in the new Doctor Strange movie. That could be a great way for them to introduce Doctor Doom into the MCU that leads into the Fantastic Four movie. And then speaking on ROM actually has made a comeback, Sean. It was last year, I think, because IDW has the rights, and IDW and Hasbro got together and did this huge crossover event where Ghostbusters, Transformers, ROM, Mask, and G.I. Joe all had this huge crossover event with each other.
Yeah, the Revolution event. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I got another one for you.
Transformers were trying to help ROM.
I got one for you too, man. One, I actually found this book yesterday. I was on a hunt for it, and I thought about it. I said, you know what, this book here, man, I'm surprised this is even still sitting here, man. And I don't normally buy Superman books. Let's go ahead and put that out there. I'm not a huge Superman buyer. You know, I will buy classic covers, supporting characters, but you're not just going to just, hey, Matt just went out and bought Superman this week. No, that you won't see me do that. So, but there is a new 52 in the house, and that is Action Comics #9 with the Earth 23 version of Superman that just happens to be a brother.
President Superman.
And
yes.
if you don't believe me, look what it's going for.
I got that for cheap myself.
Yeah, I mean, how in the world in this political climate is this book? They call him the Obama Superman. It's still
Obama was president.
He looked, yeah.
Grant Morrison created.
That issue came out while Obama was still the president, and they were doing the whole 52 multiverse. And his wife looks like Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, in that, because in that universe, Superman is also the president of the United States. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean,
hey, we need him as president right now.
Yeah.
Brother from another planet.
Yeah. So you've got this floating, you got Batwing, and you got this still sitting out there. I mean, this is when we talk about undervalued books. That's a classic example of what we're talking about. I'm gonna tell you something else that's undervalued, and those are Green Lantern books. A lot of people do not buy Green. You know, I understand a lot of people never got into Green Lantern, but there's a lot of value in Green Lantern books. One, they're easy to find because most people don't have the patience to go through all of those Green Lantern runs, and I mean, there's a ton of them. And so, I've actually seen a lot of Silver Age Green Lantern on the shelves for little or nothing because shop owners can't get rid of them. But you know they're working on a Green Lantern project, or they're getting ready to start working on one.
HBO Max is doing a TV show.
So those books are going to start ticking up very slowly. Because I saw the first Parallax again. This was a list I did maybe 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, and I had Parallax on the list. And I saw it today, sitting in the box for $1, and I was like, wow. You know, first Sinestro Quartz, you can go find for pennies on the dollar. Yep. I mean, Green Lantern is definitely a undervalued run, and believe it or not, he's pretty popular. I was surprised at how many people I know follow Green Lantern fans. Man, I've got some close friends that I knew that they was like, yeah, I'm into the Green Lantern. I was like, what?
And you got to just ask them which one.
Like, yeah, John Stewart.
Most people know John Stewart because he was in the car, but they're sleeping on the Green Lantern from Fart Sector.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we doing the show on that tomorrow.
I saw you guys were doing it. I'm gonna be tuning in to watch it. A lot of people sleeping on her comic book.
Yeah. So when we talk about value books, man, you have to kind of like look and really assess the situation because there are a lot of characters that are just glossed over. Look at it. Look no further than last week. Look at Silk. Silk's been sending books in Buck Bins for a while, man. Outside of that her first appearance, in Amazing.
She has like a up and down thing, where people kind of build her up and hype her, and it spikes.
Yep.
Then nobody talks about it. It drops. And then all of a sudden, people want to talk about it again because of the whole Spider-Man and Spider-Verse and stuff. And it spikes up a little bit. So she's been up and down.
Yeah. And so a lot of times you see where that happens. And you just have to kind of watch the trends, man. Like when you do this for a while, you'll start being able to see trends. I think the hottest trend now is just about any X-Men book. Because when we talked about this day in our group, Chris, we were talking about that, about how just everything's getting retconned. So a lot of these books that are being retconned by Brother Cates are in dollar bins. I mean, Astonishing X-Men 9, dollar bin. But it was giving Astonishing X-Men away at one point. Hey man, you want a comic book? You want Astonishing X-Men? You want Extreme X-Men? You want you here you go, you can have them. And all of a sudden you look up and then he talks about some character that was sitting on the front porch of Xavier's school is some new world leader in this new universe of X-Men, and before you know it, you got a $400 book on your hand.
Yep.
I mean, so I mean, those dollar bins, man, are where it's at.
Gold mines. It's like digging for gold.
Yep. A lot of people, passed up on first oh man, what is it? The first Squadron Supreme. I bought that book for like $5. Just sitting in a $5 bin. That's why people, you follow our comment hall, you follow Sean, you follow you see all the time. We talk about what we find in $5 buck bins. I saw a guy today. He I forgot what book it was. He posted it and he said, "Yeah, I found it in a $5 bin." And I said, people just they don't believe that this stuff is still out there in $5 and $5.
That's why I shout out to Stone Cold Steve when he brought 13 copies of X-Men 4 First Appearance of Omega Red for $1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it. He got a couple of them slab.
Why would you not buy five issues for $1 of Omega Red? I mean, the uptick, the turnaround on that, long as they don't botch him, is like, dude, that it's just like Iron Fist. Those Iron Fist, I know somebody's gonna say, Matt, man, anybody watch this show for the last 4 years will know. They'll say, "Well, Matt, man, I'm not talking about the TV show. I'm talking about the comic book. The comic book is relatively undervalued, especially after that show went down the toilet. So you can go pick up Iron Fist for little or nothing, man.
Shout out to Highlight Comic Bro. He AOK'd me his first appearance.
See, so that tells you he's trying to get it off his hand. He's like, "Hey, man." But for years, Shang-Chi, Master Kung Fu was like that. Now look at it, because me and Al, I know for a fact bought that book for under $30. Al was the one that told me about it. Was like, "Hey, man, you might want to get that first appearance of Shang-Chi, man. You probably can get it for $10-15. I think I paid $22. That was 5 years ago. So, a lot of these characters, they sit, they stew. We talked about Savage She-Hulk earlier. That book, I got a 9/8 slab. I think I paid $40 for it. Now add an extra zero to that. That's what you're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's cool to go out and get the new first appearance, these new modern books. But if you put that extra $18 to $20 into that dollar bin, you will yield some good books that will put some money in your pocket down the line. Nothing makes me feel better than when I bought a book for $1 or $2, and then you turn around and you see it trending for $400 or $500.
I mean, even books with covers that are hot. Like Matt, when you pulled out that Catwoman Adam Hughes, when y'all on that heist y'all had in the van.
I mean,
that's another one. But when you pulled that Catwoman book out, that book is going for astronomical money on eBay.
Yeah, I mean anything Adam Hughes. See that's another factor that plays into this that people don't realize. It's the artist. If you learn your artist, and I'm not talking about Peach and everybody. I'm talking
Peaches and cream.
Peaches and Cream. Yeah, I'm talking about J. Scott Campbell, uh,
Jim
Adam,
Lee.
Jim Lee, Adam Hughes, Todd McFarlane. Uh, and we were talking before we went on the air. Darwin Cook. He passed away. He's deceased.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody's seen his Starfire 3 cover, that's probably one of my favorite all-time covers. I don't know if a lot of people have seen that, but if you get a chance, go look at his Starfire 3 cover that he did, his ratio variant. That cover is absolutely gorgeous. But if you learn your artist, you'll see covers that are actually iconic type covers that look really good. I've got one or two here. I'll see if I can find it while I'm sitting here. I picked up today, and it's a Ghost Rider. It's an old school Ghost Rider. Nothing flashy, but
Just good art.
good art, man. I have to find it. But speaking of Adam Hughes, I mean, this is what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
find a
classic.
classic Adam Hughes cover, and you can turn around and you got a book that's probably gonna be worth a few bucks just based off of the art alone. Look at Batgirl. What was it, 23 last year?
Yeah.
Middleton cover.
Middleton cover.
Yeah,
I mean, you
that
got it.
that exploded.
Yeah.
Like that one. You get that off the cover for cover price. Then next thing you know, you see it for $30-$40. I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, still an icon.
That's a good one right there.
Very good one.
And then you see what it's still going for. $5. $5, man. I mean,
I was able to get that book as part of the lot where the first 14 issues of Web of Spider-Man and the first 4 annuals for like $20. And this was a guy that I used to work with. He was selling comics, and he hooked me up on it.
Then you've got, like I was showing him earlier, I picked up a Darkhawk today. Everybody jokes about Darkhawk 1, but I mean, look at that cover. I mean, that's a nice cover. So a lot of times when you're out and about, books like this, it may, you just pick it up because you like the cover, but then you turn around and then you start seeing people like, wait a minute, one, it's hard to find Darkhawk, anything past in a run like past 20. And so when you can find a good copy of a book and it has a good cover, i.e. Catwoman. Catwoman has a lot of gorgeous covers. Those Adam Hughes covers. And those Adam Hughes covers tend to turn into big bucks down the line. You can get you a few pieces of change. Just like he said, on that, I think it's 55 if I'm not mistaken, the one that I got. Look at the Jock cover. That Joker cover.
Oh, man, that Joker cover?
Yeah. I mean.
Crazy expensive.
Yeah. Yep. So you can find those books.
It's nothing important about it, but just the cover alone.
Yeah, the way it looks.
Yeah, it's hypnotizing. With the way the Joker looks. You want that hanging on the wall.
Yeah, and so when you think about undervalued books, it doesn't just fall into books that are sitting in the dollar bin. You can get regular books off of the rack, and then those books turn out to be top dollar, but you still only pay rack price for it. You pay $4.99 for a book. I'd rather pay $4.99 for a book and it'd be worth something down the line than to overpay paying $459 for a book that you can't do anything with. Yep. Sean, you want to add anything? That's Sean, but Chris, you want to add anything there?
No, I'm just like you said with the Darwin. I've been collecting I've got just about every the DC Darwin Cook covers from when he passed away. There's only a few left that I'm hunting to get down, on my short list or whatever. But those great investments because he was an amazing artist before he passed away. And his books had crazy value to them before then. But then once he passed away, pretty much anything he touched now is seen as a decent collector's item. And you just never know. Learn your artists. Even if it's just on the cover, even if they don't do the internal work. Look at all the Alex Ross is an amazing artist.
Oh yeah.
He's been doing all the covers for the Immortal Hulk. But I picked up in the dollar bin. I went to this was last year, I think it was. I went to Oxford Comics, was in their dollar bin, and found 6 or 7 of the covers that he did for the Shadow comic book.
Oh yeah.
So I picked up all of those at $1 a piece.
I'm
the
still
Shadow
looking,
and Green Hornet.
I'm still looking to try and find his first work on the Terminator comic because I got the second issue that he did on it, but not the first. That's his early work.
We talk about undervalued books, fella. These old Marvel comics present runs
Man, I remember Wolverine
Wolverine,
looking
man.
like that.
I mean, these are once again, when you think about undervalued books, you think about guys like Wolverine.
Hmm.
Everybody doesn't realize that people are not going to be able to afford 181 after a while. But back to what you just said, a lot of iconic covers, man, with Wolverine on, and these are sitting in dollar bins, 50 cent
$10
bins.
bins.
You know, easily attainable. Though the Marvel Comics presents Weapon X is just sitting in $2, $3 bins. At some point they're going to revisit that. So you look at this kind of stuff, and these are opportunities that presents themselves to you to be able to get started on the low end and invest. Once again, I always tell people you can always invest in Silver Age at a low price. And people say, well, man, how do you, I showed this one off air, but I'll show it again. You say, well, how can you afford Silver Age at low price? I mean, there it is right there,
$8.
$8. And this, you see what number it is? It's 35. So there's opportunities out there. You have to act with patience. You can't act rash and go out and just buy the first thing that you see because it's hot. So do your research, take your time, and at this stage of the game, and Sean, how long have you been back collecting since 2012? You say?
Yeah.
I got back in about 2014, 2013, 2014. Chris, you've been the whole time.
I never stopped. Yeah.
And so we can all agree on you got apps now that help you when it comes to pricing. You got websites all over the place. All
Yep.
we had was Overstreet Price
Price
Guide.
guy.
Yep.
And most time that was ass backwards. Most time the Overstreet Price Guide was ass backwards if you were the one trying to get the book. Because it wasn't priced at what you want the book at. No, it's priced for when they want to buy it from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Man.
anything else y'all fellas want to add here?
I just wanted to say, you talk about Silver Age books being cheap. Biggie Shaq, if you ever watch my live streams for a while, he will pop on my show, and usually do a live stream himself doing it. And he has this honey hole because he's in Ohio, and he goes there, and it's like nothing but Silver Age books. And that's how he amassed a bunch of Silver Age books of like adventure comics and action, Justice League books, bunch of Silver Age for fairly cheap. $5-10. Probably the most be like 15-20.
Yep. And see, we talk about cool covers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Ghost Rider. And then this is one we were talking about. I was telling you about Star Wars books. You want to talk about going to the butt bin and looking around? You'll come up on stuff like this for $1. Well, that was $7 actually, but still, I mean, the value is there. You just got to take your time and look, man. And a lot of people get caught up in, they wait till something get hot and then they scramble. But if you start ahead of the curve, you can pretty much get what you need and coast out, man. So,
Yep.
I think we got a great amount of books on this list. I think people should be able to walk away and get something from this, and we hope that you do, and we hope that you're able to apply this to your collecting experience. And whatever you think that we missed, drop it in the comment section below. Make sure you all check out Chris's podcast. We've started airing it here on the station as well. Really good show. Really good debate on manga and how comic book, how the polar opposite of the two. Make sure you check out Sean on Saturday. He's got a show he's doing tomorrow. If you want to tell everybody about it, I mean, I know we'll probably record it, but still, so if they want to see where it's at, where do they need to go, my friend?
Yeah, just look me up on YouTube, Stay Puft 1983. Tomorrow we'll be doing our Far Sector review of the first 7 issues. It's me and Fresh Princess 92. She's the one that helped me get the rest of the issues that I was missing. And I'm definitely looking forward to discussing that book. And then, of course, I have my Saturday show chatting with the comic community, where I get various members of the community to jump on and just have a fun free-for-all show. Really no format. We might have 1 or 2 topics, and then we just shoot the shit for the rest of the show, and it's a lot of fun.
Yep. And for those who are watching the big roundtable discussion with all of us, we will not be on this weekend because it's my birthday weekend, and we're going to be going to the comic book store. We're going up to Atlanta this weekend. So
Nice. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it, man. So I'm an old poot. So we'll be going up the road, and hopefully we'll find some good stuff. I got a feeling we will.
Yeah.
And so we will be back next Saturday at our normal time at 8:30 p.m. And you probably can catch Al. He'll probably be on with, well, no, Al won't. No, you know what? We may be on in the car. We may hop on Stay Up Show from the car. or either from one of the stores. So you may see us on there on Sean's show this weekend. So you get a chance, make sure you check out Stay Puft 1983 at 2:30 p.m. Correct?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Okay, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I'll send you and Al the link just in case.
Yes, and we will probably make a quick cameo because I want to say hey to Stone Cold Steve. I hadn't talked to Stone Cold in a minute, man. So I want to say hey to the crew. And Chris, once again, man, excellent job on the podcast. Where can they check your podcast out at, man? Outside of our channel.
You can check the podcast out pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. Actually, it's on Apple, it's on Google. You know, just search for Outcasts United. Just like we have the group on Facebook, you can look us up, and on Instagram, and you can follow us from there.
Sweet, awesome. And Al has a new Off the Rack coming. We're just trying to get everything sorted out, but Off the Rack is
that's gonna be good.
One of I checked the metrics on the channel, and Off the Rack is actually the number one rated show on the channel. And I told Al, I said, Al, everybody wants to see you raise hell, man. So just have at it. So he'll be coming back with a new one. And once again, don't forget if you hadn't been to the comic book store this week, there's a new character that has debuted, and I think it's Trinity, if I'm not mistaken. I have to find out. It's in a pile over there. I can't think of it, but I want to say it's Jeff Mello Trinity or whatever. New character debuted this week. Also, for those who are Ice Cream Man fans, that the Ice Cream Man quarantine book came out today. And for those who are trying to get ahead of the curve with Spawn, make sure. Have y'all had anybody on this panel have y'all had a chance to see the Spawn 310 cover?
No.
I think I've seen it, but I need to see it again.
Yeah. Go ahead and pre-order it. I just go ahead and say, hey, if you can pre-order it at regular price, please go ahead and pre-order it at regular price.
That whole time, that discussion on that gunslinger Spawn,
yeah,
Steve was able to pre-order that and got that for cover price. So
yeah, see what I'm saying? That goes back to what we talked about. If you can get certain books at cover price, then you know. And
this house shows you how great he is, because I first met him last year at MegaCon, and he instantly AOK'd me Spawn first appearance of Gunslinger, and I was able to get that signed by Greg Capullo.
Man.
Oh, man.
That is Dream Street. Wow. Man, you can't be. Look at that. Look how he just sat there. He's like, he's trying to be all humble.
Gotta be humble with it.
Yeah, man.
But man, that just shows you how great of a guy he is, man. He's just an awesome member of the community, man.
Yeah, the comic community, for a whole, is pretty much a great comrade. It's like a brotherhood, man, and it's a lot of really stand-up guys, like yourself, who are really, really great individuals, on and off camera. And we're all in this. Everybody's in this because we enjoy one thing, and that is good stories, good art, and great comics. And so that's why we're here. All right. So with that, everybody, I am Matt O. We got Chris, and we've got Stay Puft. We got Sean, and we are out. We hope that you were able to take something away from this list, and we'll be back with more comic book lists in the near future. So thanks again. Peace.